Welcome to Pat Stats. In today's video, I'll be ranking the top 5 future dynasties in baseball. So, before we start, there are some guidelines that I want to lay out. And for this list, I'm looking for teams that have been rebuilding and have shown improvement. So, teams like the Dodgers, who are clearly going to be good for a very long time, they're not going to be on it, since they were not recently rebuilding. And since that was a long time ago, at least they did. It isn't necessarily based on farm system rankings. Some teams are good right now, and maybe don't have the greatest farm system, but their core right now will take them long distances in the future. So it's not really based on farm system, but the main focus is the young core. It'll be less about like the veteran players, the players that have been around for a long time, but more about what's going to be coming up in the future. So let's get started. The number 5 team is the Blue Jays. Their rebuild technically lasted from 2017 to 2019, although it was really only 2018 to 2019. The last time they made the playoffs was 2016 until this year when they made the playoffs. Their current core includes Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, who emerged this year. They also have promising young pitching, up and coming, and they have a pretty good catching situation as well. They also have the number 7 overall farm system and 3 players in the top 100. 3 prospects in the top 100 in all of baseball. So I like this team a lot. The Blue Jays, they focus a lot on the second generation of players. You see, though, that entire top row, they are sons of former pretty good Major League Baseball players, and I expect them to be good for a very long time. Number 4 is the White Sox. Now, they made the playoffs for the first time since 2008 in 2020. Their rebuild did last a pretty long time. I would say from like 2013 to 2019. The current core includes Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Luis Robert, and Eloy Jimenez. They also have some pretty good pitching, like Lucas Giolito, Dylan Cease is going to be pretty good, I think, Fernando Lopez, and probably some people in the farm system. Right now, their team is a very nice mix of players. They have the young, as I just mentioned, but they also have the veterans like Yasmani Grandal and Jose Abreu, and last year they had Edwin Encarnacion, so it is a very well-balanced team. Now, the hiring of Tony La Russa, on the other hand, that does not make me feel as comfortable with them as I had been, especially with the stuff that's going on now. I don't know if that was a good hire, but I don't think that'll make them perform too badly or too much worse than they should be performing, because this team is World Series caliber. As for the future, they have the number 6 overall farm system with 4 players in the top 100, but 3 of those have already played at least 1 game in the major leagues. So, I mean, their rebuild is pretty much showing right now for the next couple years, but that core is going to be good for a long time. Number 3 is the Atlanta Braves. The Braves are the team that has made the postseason the most since their rebuild. They've made it in 3 consecutive years. I would say the rebuild technically lasted from like 2015 to 2017. Like the White Sox, right now their team is a very good mix of players. You start with the young, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. The pitching, Mike Soroka, Max Fried, Ian Anderson, and Kyle Wright, who was pretty good last year down the stretch. So that young core, that's going to be the main, those are the main players that are going to be in this dynasty. The only other really good prospect they have is Kristen Pache. He played in the World Series, or not the World Series, the NLCS last year. And so he's pretty close. Because then the number 15th ranked, so I mean, they're not the best in terms of the farm system, but like I said, this core is going to take them a very long way. I would be surprised if they don't win a World Series pretty soon. They are very good. The number 2 future dynasty are the San Diego Padres. They had a pretty long drought of not making the playoffs, and that was snapped this year, first time since 2006. Again, another well-balanced team. You see these young players here, Jake Cronenworth. I don't know why they don't have an updated picture of Fernando Tatis Jr. He's obviously the star. Trent Grisham, Chris Paddock, Zach Davies, Dinelson Lamet, along with the veterans including Eric Hosmer, Manny Machado, and others. This team is going to be very good, especially because they have the number 3 ranked prospects farm system, including 5 in the top 100, including Mackenzie Gore, the number 5 overall prospect in all of baseball. So they are going to be scary good for the next decade, especially with their up-and-coming prospects combined with the players they already have. This team is definitely World Series caliber. But the number 1 future dynasty that will be good for so very long are the Tampa Bay Rays, the AL champions, who their rebuild pretty much lasted from 2015 to 2019. They have made the postseason in back-to-back years. They are obviously a smart organization. They are ran very well. You see, they only put 3 players up here as their current core: Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows, because they have so many players constantly moving around. Back in February, if I told you the Rays were going to make the World Series, you would say, okay, reasonable, but you would have no idea which players would be performing well. I mean, Randy Rosarena, who knew? Like, players like Joey Wendell and Manuel Margot, like, who would have ever thought that those players would be key to their success? And I would presume that those types of players will be the key to them winning in the next few years. And their farm system, number 1 ranked, including the number 1 overall prospect, Wander Franco, who is pretty close to making it to the major leagues. And they also have 5 in the top 100. So that team, the Rays, they are going to be a very good team this entire decade. They almost won the World Series this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they do at some point in the next few years. So that is all for Patch Stats today. I'm thinking about doing a supplementary video to this, top 5 future rebuilds. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching this one.